We have some amazing roller coasters here in Australia, but let's not forget about some of our glorious flat rides. Today, I'm reacting to 10 of the most thrilling flat rides in the country. For those of you who don't know, a flat ride is any ride that is not a roller coaster, water slide, or a dark ride. Think your drop towers, pendulums, anything you see at the Melbourne Show or the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Before I jump into the top 10, I want to thank for this video idea. Alright, let's jump in. Number 10 goes to an iconic drop tower. It's the Hair Raiser at Luna Park in Sydney. So this tower is only 50 meters high, but when you fall, you hit a speed of 80 kilometers per hour, which is just wild. I think what makes this drop tower so intense is usually when you go on a drop tower, for example, the giant drop, you have time at the top to kind of think about your life decisions. Ponder on whether it was a good idea for you even to get on this ride in the first place. But the Hair Raiser is simply an up and down drop tower. As soon as you hit the top of the drop tower, you fall. The reason I put this in the top 10 is yes, it's thrilling, but also look at that stunning view of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. That is just amazing. I know this is a thrilling list and it's not about views, but let's put it there anyway. Okay, this is the moment where you're like, we're gonna fall at any point, surely. Oh, he knew. He knew that they were gonna fall. Good guy, he's done this before. Drop towers are just, I don't know, they're terrifying. Even the tiny one at Warner Brothers Movie World. I hate the stomach drop feeling. All right, let's jump on to number 9. Number 9 goes to a ride that is literally wild for no reason whatsoever. It's the Serpent Slayer at Dreamworld. Now this ride is so deceptive, and I'll tell you why in a couple of ways. I mean, to me that looks wild because I've been on it, but some people say that looks kind of like a slow, chill ride, even though you just see that cart just like fly past the screen. They're like, oh, this is a carousel that flips. No, this is probably one of the most intense rides I've ever been on. And it's so deceptive because it is right next to the play school wheel.
The king's, oh shit.
They're like, yeah, this is a kid's ride. No, it's not. I'll show you the POV. And I think the top comment on this POV actually nails it. They said, God, I remember going on this. Literally thought it was some slow ride. I had my eyes glued shut the whole time. I was so relieved when it was done and over with. 2 words, never again. I totally agree. I mean, look at this. It's just a motion sickness generator. I'm like getting sick watching this myself. That's just, what is the point of this ride except to make you feel sick and have a headache? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? So this ride used to be called Pandemonium, themed after Kung Fu Panda. That's why we've got different theming on this retro POV. Why? But I think it's definitely earned its place as number 9 in the most thrilling flat rides in the country. Alright, let's jump on to number 8. So number 8 goes to the Power Surge ride. Now there's the Power Surge at Luna Park in Melbourne and the Black Widow at Adventure World in Perth. Both of those are the same type of ride. This one just looks scary from the outside, and it is scary. Let me show you an off-ride video first. So essentially, this ride spins or flips 3 ways. You have the entire main spider arm spinning. You've got the spider legs rotating as well. And then your seats are just free to flip as well. So it's another dizzy one, but I think not as dizzying as the Serpent Slayer. What makes this ride cool is it's just like a cool towering beast. I mean, look at that. The lights, it looks awesome. And it looks even more awesome when you're on ride. All right, here's the on-ride footage. Just watching these people ride this in the sunshine with their legs dangling, I'm jealous. Look at that. I love the freely spinning cars. This is why going on a ride like this with me is a really bad idea, because I will try my hardest to get us to go 360 degrees the entire ride. That's why my partner hates riding with me. She already gets motion sickness, and riding with me is just, it's not fun. But look at this. It's one of those things where, because you're rotating in 3 different ways, you have no idea where you're gonna land or where you are in the park. Like, And you just have all these kind of different planes of movement, which is just so fun. Dude, in this POV, this kid is like gonna fly out of the seat. I'm actually like concerned for his safety. What the hell? Oh my gosh, that's so fun. You're gonna make me throw up if you get me on this. Ah, what a fun ride. And I think like at Adventure World, as I said, it's called the Black Widow, which is just like the perfect name for it. It looks like a spider. I don't know, it's really fun, and I think it's great for number 8. All right, let's jump on to number 7. Number 7 goes to what I think is one of our most iconic flat rides in Australia, which is the Claw at Dreamworld. Now, the Claw has been closed since the start of this year because they're doing a massive update. They're calling it the King Claw, and they're basically doubling the size. The Claw is a classic pendulum. It's a type of ride called an Intamin gyro swing. So there's another one at Adventure World called Goliath, and there's just like a bunch around the country. But I think Dreamworld's one is the most iconic. Let's have a watch of the POV. Now this is a pretty, again, a retro POV, but I think it just sums up how fun this ride is. This was one of the first flat rides I ever rode, and I was like, damn, again, I like rides. I guess I like rides and roller coasters. So the original Claw, the one featured in this video, and the one that I am putting as number 7 on this list, hit 64 kilometers per hour and had a maximum height of 26 meters. The new King Claw is going to hit 42 meters and will hit a maximum speed of 98 kilometers per hour. So I'll have to do another video of this when the King Claw comes out to see where it sits in the list. Look at that. You feel like you're almost going upside down. And I think the best thing about pendulum rides is like if you're able to time it like right now, so you're facing the floor when you when you speed down. I don't know, it's just so fun. So that was number 7, the Claw in its previous state. If you want to find out more about the King Claw, please follow any of these fellow creators because they often provide updates on it. All right, let's jump into number 6. Number 6 goes to another pendulum ride. It is the Beast, which is a traveling ride that features at the Melbourne Show, Sydney Royal Easter Show, those kinds of places. Let's have a look at the POV and I'll talk you through some of the stats. So firstly, I love these types of rides because they're always just so extra with the lights, with the smoke, with the loud techno music that just gets you so hyped. I put this one just above the Claw because it is taller and it is faster. So this ride is 45 meters tall and you hit over 90 kilometers per hour. So that's actually taller than the King Claw. You also hit over 5 Gs of forces, which is like, I don't know if that's right. Is that going to kill you? I feel like when you're in Roller Coaster Tycoon and you have 5 Gs of forces, then it's like unrideable. So I'll just have to check that. I think what's amazing about this is it's a traveling ride and it's so tall. I'll show you what this kind of looks off-ride because it's aptly named the Beast. It is just huge. This is what the Beast looks like off-ride. I mean, it's the best name for this type of ride. And it just looks amazing when it hits its height. That's crazy. Look at these people. I find these ones really funny when you're kind of facing the people opposite you and you get to see their reaction, or you can just kind of like make eye contact with them the whole time. Again, feeling of weightlessness. This is really cool. I'm going to ride this at the Melbourne Show this year, so I am pumped. Cannot wait. Damn, look at that height. That's crazy. And that person just got an amazing free fall then because they're facing the ground, which is exactly what you want. And it's up to chance with the rotation. And I wonder if someone can control that. If anyone has ever worked as a ride operator, let me know if you can control which direction people face down. I'm sure it would be hard, but maybe not impossible. Such a fun ride. All right, that was number 6. Let's move to number 5. Number 5 goes to another pendulum ride, but this one is a little bit different. Your seats actually flip while the ride is doing its swing. It's called the Joker, and it's another ride that features at the Melbourne Show and other shows around the country. Let's have a look at the on-ride POV for this one. Now, this POV is super fun. Whoever operated the ride this day was really having fun with the music, lights, sound effects, that kind of stuff. Let's just have a listen.
All systems stand by to transmit
This is hype. I'm pumped. I'm just watching a YouTube video, but I'm pumped. And I love the Joker theming, by the way.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoever this person is, they must be a DJ or something. This is like their side hobby, is just like operating rides. So essentially this is kind of like the Beast, except you're facing outwards, so you don't have to see your neighbor's face. But imagine like the Beast, and then the seats that you're on are free to move. And I love what they do with these kind of like many spinning pendulum rides, is that they'll give you a false sense of hope in that, oh, the seats are fine, like they're not going to flip or anything. They'll just run the pendulum ride as normal, and then towards the end they'll start flipping them, and that's why I have trust issues.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not.
Look at the Beast in the background, man. There's just such a crazy... I can't believe these things fit on the back of trucks. That's wild. Here we go. That scream is like the scream of realization that this is not a normal ride. Look at that! Did you see that? Go back. Okay, after this, watch. That is crazy. It was like, just getting plucked out of the air. Person on this POV is not having a great time. To be honest, me though. And then you go back to safety, and you walk off, and you cry. You cry to your mum. You cry to your brother, to your friends and family, to your dog. And you say, why did I do that? Alright, let's go on to number 4. Number 4 is another flippy pendulum type thing. That's the official title. It is the Rebel at Gumbaya World. So this one is here for the rule breakers. Now this, as I said, this is very similar, or similar, I guess, concept to the Joker that we just watched. And actually they're the same height, 24 meters high. But I've actually ridden this one, so I put it higher because I got scared when I was on it. Also, I love this guy's POV MIDI theme parks. I love how he's just putting his hands up. That is the best feeling. It's like, let the restraints do all the work. They're there for a reason, you guys. Test them. Put all your body weight into That's maybe bad advice, don't do that. This part is cool. See, like that's what makes this so fun, is when you go do the 180 around the pendulum and you just like hang at the top and just feel so freeing. So again, this has the same sequence, starting off like a normal pendulum. Then all of a sudden the ride operator presses the release the seats button.
Pull the lever, crunk.
And it gets wild. Let's get to that part. Life's too short. That is crazy. I think because what makes this different to the Joker is the seats are just like kind of on poles rather than like, you feel a bit more safer on the Joker because you're kind of strapped, whereas these are like just like pointing out in here. And I don't know, I just think that makes you feel a bit more freer and more exposed to the elements and to some hardcore flipping. Oh my gosh, I love the people in the lazy river just like absolutely chilling, having the best time of their lives, and then the people on the Rebel that are just like screaming their lungs out. That's perfect. I need to get to Gumbaya World. Alright, let's go on to number 3. Before I jump into number 3, I'm going to do a shameless plug. If you're enjoying this video, I would really love it if you liked it and maybe gave my channel a subscribe. I'm just starting out here on YouTube, but I love roller coasters and rides, and so I'm making... My robot vacuum wanted to come into the vlog, sorry. I love roller coasters and I love visiting theme parks, so I'm going to vlog all of my adventures, and if that's something that interests you, please give me a subscribe. Alright, enough pandering. Let's move on to the top 3 thrill rides in Australia. Number 3 goes to another iconic one at the Gold Coast theme parks. It's the Batwing Spaceshot. Now, this is a launched freefall, so it's essentially a drop tower that launches up rather than taking you up slowly. And that's why I think it should be pretty high on this list. That initial launch up is pretty forceful. You hit around 4 Gs when you fly up that tower, and you experience a speed of 72 kilometers per hour. You only hit about 60 meters on this one, so it's not super tall, but I just think that initial launch is amazing, and when you walk into Movie World, I agree. When you walk into Movie World, you just hear that, which is amazing. And if you've ever wanted to know what it's like to have your stomach up to your throat, then this is the perfect ride for that. I don't know, it's a great ride, it's lots of fun, and yeah, that force is pretty intense, so that's why I popped it at number 3 on this list. So, I don't know what you would call this type of ride. I guess it's like a pendulum, but there used to be a version of this called the freestyle, and I've ridden that and it was lots of fun. This one is way taller. This one is 55 meters tall. It is the Warrior, which is another traveling ride. Let's show you the POV for this one. So essentially, if you can, I'll show you a photo right now. So it is a giant stick, and at the end of each stick, you've got seats which rotate freely. I mean, 55 meters tall, that is pretty tall. And just look at this, I mean, there's only one way down, and that's crazy. Look, that is wild. Again, if you're lucky to get the seat where you're like facing down as you fall, that's just like terrifying. This one is also, the guy in the POV just said, holy, that's so funny. But yeah, this one is also going to be in the Melbourne Show this year, and I'm going to ride it, so I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait. So the DC Rivals Hypercoaster is only 7 meters taller than this one. That's crazy. This definitely earns its place as number 2. The guy in the POV. Oh shit. Now we're going the other way. Just like white knuckling the restraints. Now, number 1 goes to a ride that still makes me scared in the queue to this day. It is, of course, the giant drop at Dreamworld. If you haven't ridden this ride, you won't be able to understand how absolutely terrifying it is. You climb up to a height of 119 meters on this bad boy. That is massive. And when you fall, you hit a speed of 135 kilometers per hour. That actually makes this the fastest ride in Australia. It's faster than the DC Rivals coaster, which goes 115 kilometers per hour. But as I was talking about drop towers at the start, I think what makes this ride so terrifying is that soul-destroying weight at the top when you're just waiting to plummet to your death, and then all of a sudden you hear that clink behind you and you're gone. This ride is absolutely intense and is certainly the king of all rides in Australia. Look at that. So good. Let's watch it one more time. Firstly, you're like, what a beautiful view of the Gold Coast hinterland. Amazing. And that sound of the magnetic brakes at the bottom is just like something that permeates through the entire Dreamworld park. It's terrifying, but amazing. It adds to the anticipation. There's the clink. You are falling for such a long time in this bad boy. That is just not fun. Not fun. Who thought of this? I hate them. Because you're making me ride it, and I get scared. And this used to be attached to the same tower as the Tower of Terror, and when the Tower of Terror was going up and you were on the giant drop, you could literally feel the tower shaking, which just added a whole other dimension. Well, those were the top 10 most intense flat rides in Australia. Did you agree with this list? Have you ridden any of these rides? What did you think? Let me know in the comments. And as I said, if you love this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to me on YouTube. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.